That extra weight added to the back of your vehicle, overhanging it, it's going to make your vehicle less capable. I said it, less capable. I asked thousands of people why they got a rear bar for their four-wheel drive. And there are many valid reasons why you should get a rear bar. And I can name 10 of them just at the top of my head. Just like our snorkel video and our bull bar video, join me on an in-depth look into rear bars, how to maximize them, why you need one, why you don't need one, and the cons. And I've addressed one of those major cons right here, right now, and I bet you can't spot what it is.
Huh?
Let's get into it. There are many different types of rear bars, but there are two main fundamental types that most people think of. And the first one being the classic wagon bar, the dual wheel carrier or the wheel carrier with the jerrycan holder. But they serve many more purposes and are multi-function, and we'll get to all that. But it does change your vehicle in some bad ways, but mainly good ways. And as a secondary purpose, they serve as protection. And that's where we get to the second style of bar. And this is the one that you normally find on a ute, on a well body. The bar that wraps around from the back down and covers the rear quarter panels. And the main purpose of those bars is for protection. And on the rare occasion, you will see a utility with a wheel carrier in the back of it, but it's very rare. Usually that rear bar just acts as protection to stop the well body from caving in due to the tub hanging so far over the back of the ute. And some other rare occasions, you will see a tray back with a rear bar. I don't know why you'd even do that, but you do see it sometimes. The main purpose of the wagon rear bar. Most people install a rear bar for long distance travel reasons. For example, carry the extra wheel or perhaps fuel. And as a bonus, some people add hardware to the swing away arm, just like I have right here with a water tap. There's many other things you can add to it, and we'll get to those later on to maximize your rear bar. But there are so many more benefits and reasons to mount a rear bar to a four-wheel drive. Regardless of having one or two spares hanging off the rear of your vehicle, you can benefit from having more space for water or fuel underneath the vehicle, because some wagons have the spare tyre mounted up underneath. When you remove that and put it on the back, you now have a really big void that you could possibly fit up to 50 or 90 litres water or fuel. Up to you. Another benefit for removing the spare tyre from underneath your vehicle, should you have that situation, if you get bogged in sand or mud and you have a tyre that's come off the rim, you're going to have to get underneath and get that tyre out. And that is going to be a tedious and annoying process. It's actually going to be very difficult to get that wheel from underneath. Even in most cases, if you don't have a lift on your vehicle as well, getting underneath, it's not going to be easy. If you have it hanging off the back, much easier. And the other reason, you're going to maximize the clearance underneath your vehicle if you don't put a fuel tank under, of course. And even if you don't have a wheel underneath the vehicle, taking the weight off the rear door is also a massive benefit. And that is the main reason why I got a rear bar, was to get the weight off this door. For most of the people that I asked on social media, why did you get a rear bar? That's what they mostly voted for, which I was very surprised about. Because having a barn door vehicle, the doors can't really handle it, particularly on a Troopy, a 76 series, or even like some patrols that have the barn doors. Now, for example, a Pajero or an FJ or a Prado, those doors seem to be built a bit stronger. They can handle it way better than what my Troopy can. Departure angles is also another reason. Many people are fooled by the golden pros that the accessory store will tell you. Putting a rear bar on your vehicle will give you a better departure angle. That's not necessarily always the case. Unless you remove the rear tow assembly like I've done, you don't actually improve your departure angle. In most cases. Look, some cases you will, but most cases you will not. To prove my point, when I had a tow assembly on this vehicle, it was actually sitting down here. I was constantly hitting on it. I'm not going to tow with this vehicle, so if you're not going to tow with your vehicle, I would suggest you remove it if you're going to put a rear bar on, if you're doing it for the reasons of getting a better departure angle. But if you do so, make sure that you have adequate recovery points on your rear bar, because by removing your tow assembly, you are removing your only recovery point, unless you have a bar with recovery points. Protection. With rear bars, you're always going to get more protection on the back. That just goes without saying. Like, you're putting a steel bar on something that had plastic and metal. So a mix of plastic and steel is definitely a lot weaker than steel. Although what my car had before was a pretty strong bar. But what I did get it for was for the quarter panel protection. So most utes, when you have a rear bar for a ute, they usually wrap around the side and protect your quarter panel. Because when you smash a quarter panel on a well body, you pretty much either got to panel beat the whole well body and paint the whole thing. And the same thing goes with a wagon. Now many rear bars don't actually come around the side and protect the quarter panels. There are many that don't. So when you look for a rear bar and you want protection, if that's why you're getting it, make sure it actually has adequate protection down the side. And how's it mounted? For example, this one has got these L brackets that go in and mount onto the chassis. Others just bolt onto the body. You don't want that, it's not going to provide enough protection. So definitely check that out. Let's talk con. The first one, the obvious one, the price. Many rear bars, you need to donate a kidney, and some rear bars, 2 kidneys. And that's the common thing I hear when we talk about rear bars are modified.
The kidney bar, yep, sold my kidney.
Yeah, only just the left one for
this.
this.
Got the right kidney?
Yeah, no, still got the right. So still going well.
Sold a kidney and decided to put a down payment.
I get it. There are quality products out there. They're going to cost money. They're using thick, hard steel to actually protect the rear of your vehicle. But some of these companies, they have this thing that was really good 10 years ago by that standard, but are so arrogant, my choice of words, that they haven't improved on that item because they think their shit doesn't stink. But they have a good product, but they haven't improved on it. So really, a lot of other affordable options are catching up to them fast. So although the pricing is up there, do your research because you may only have to donate 1 kidney rather than 2 kidneys. With a rear bar with swing away arms on the back, you are making your vehicle longer. To give you an example, my 79 series, which has a longer wheelbase by 150mm with a tray hanging over the back, is now shorter than my Troopy. Since I added the rear bar to my Troopy with a swing away arm and then moved the tyre out a bit, the Troopy is 200mm longer. That's how much of a difference it made. So now, when you're driving around in car park, you're maneuvering around tight areas, your vehicle's longer. You're gonna have to deal with that. And that's thanks to those big swing away arms on the back of your new rear bar. Weight. You're adding a lot of weight to your vehicle. A rear bar, a bull bar, side steps, sliders, they're all steel. It's all heavy gauge stuff to protect your vehicle, but also to accommodate for the big tyre and the big jerry cans hanging off the back. They need to be strong enough to hold that. To do that, they're using thicker material and you're adding a lot of weight to your vehicle. The worst part about this weight is it's added to the back and you're moving more cargo further out the back. If you are driving on some hardcore tracks and whatnot, you might be adding more protection to the back, but you are also going to be lifting up the front end a lot. A lot of the weight is now on the back. Your vehicle will definitely start behaving differently. And with that extra weight added to the back of your vehicle, overhanging it, counter-levering, it's going to make your vehicle less capable. I said it, less capable. This comes without saying, most products out there come with poor installation manuals. It's very hard to read. You get sent a black and white copy. However, most of the time, there will be a YouTube video on how to install that rear bar. My advice is go straight to that and then use your instructions as a referral. The clever extras you can do to maximize what you get out of your rear bar. Those swing away arms can serve many multiple purposes. Mounting UHF antennas to the back of your swing away arm. Mounting a telescopic pole with a light on it. Mounting camping lights. When you install your bin bag, it is honestly 10 times easier because you can get all the way around that bin bag and tighten it up properly rather than doing a half-assed job because you couldn't get to the back of it. And water taps. You can add a water tap to the back of your swing away arm. Open the swing away arm up, wash your face. You can also expand on your rear wheel carrier by adding a basket on top of that. You can carry a swag there, extra max tracks. You can do so many things. Because those swing away arms can now take a lot more weight, you can put so much more stuff on the back of your car. But don't forget, the more you put on the back, the more it's going to misbehave when you go off-road. And with 2 swing away arms, well, the amount of options of accessories you have and what you can add to your vehicle is endless, really. Enjoying the content so far? Well, hit that subscribe button down there. It goes a long way to help out. And if you want to help out even more, well, you can check out what that join button is. That's YouTube members, which gives you a whole bunch of other things. Here's something many people are unaware of. The industry problems when it comes to rear bars. You see, they don't have to comply with the same standard as a front bar, like a bull bar does. ADR compliance, airbag impacts. So all the hardware has got to be up to scratch. As opposed to a rear bar, they can get away with using inferior fitments. There's a lot more give and take and a lot more shortcuts in the world of the rear bar compared to the bull bar. So care needs to be taken. And here is a short list of things to look out for. Some rear bars don't accommodate for different types of exhausts. Now the thing is, if you're modifying a vehicle and you're making a rear bar for vehicles, you should really be accommodating for most different types of exhaust pipes. But there's a few in particular where the rear lights actually melt because the way they're fitted is right in the firing line of an exhaust. And I've seen this numerous times. A couple of times on Modified, a couple of times at a particular workshop. And something every single manufacturer of rear bars seems to do, or shortcut, is the hardware, the mounting hardware.
You know, you've got this amazing solid bar and then you've got these real flimsy little light.
The mounting tabs on them are quite weak though. They're only held in by sort of 2 screws on each side.
And not just the mounting hardware, but also the electrical hardware. No one gives you Dodge plugs with their rear bars. So there are some things, if you're buying one to DIY fit yourself, or you get a 4-wheel drive shop to fit, they're probably not going to be fitted with the good stuff. So you can get a really premium, nice rear bar, but everything on the inside where the wiring is hooked up or where it's mounted may be absolute dog shit. Poor paint jobs or poor powder coating or poor preparation for powder coating. Sometimes you hear about it in the industry, if you're in the industry that is, about a bad batch of bull bars, paint coming off them, and you really hear about it then. But when it comes to rear bars, it seems to be more tolerated or expected. The paint job or powder coating job on a rear bar, generally not as good as a bull bar. This one pisses me off. Stock on back order, but they're listed as stock. That's another one you got to watch out for, especially if it's another store on selling it. They will often not tell you it's not in stock. You pay your money, you're waiting for months. Be careful. And the final problem I see, and this is more like the inferior bars, they have recovery points on them, but the material of the whole bar where the recovery point is attached to is very thin and I wouldn't trust it. Do some research because these are the things in the industry that no one really tells you. Here is a good checklist for you guys if you're looking at buying a rear bar. Number 1, does it have adequate protection? Does it protect down the side? Does it have recovery points? That's a big one. Does it have reverse lights in it, or is that something you have to add yourself? Does it have high lift jacking points if you need that? It may be something that's critical to you. And swing away arms. Do you have the 2 options? And if it does have 2 options, can you put a jerrycan holder on either side? Because in some cases you may prefer to have a wheel on one side and a jerrycan on the other side, but some may only offer one option on the left and another option on the right. And how easy is it to fit? If you're going to DIY fit this thing, it needs to be easy to fit. You don't want to have to deal with issues of fitting a bar. And will your exhaust melt your rear lights? Arm yourself with that list. You can always call the accessory store or the manufacturer themselves and ask them the questions, but this should be stuff on YouTube. You generally find everything there, like this video right now. So justification of having a rear bar does need to be exercised, so you know that you actually need one or you don't need one. What kind of travel do you do? If you're doing remote travel and you need the extra space, you need to carry the extra tire, then that might be the case for you. If you're getting yourself into some boggy situations on beaches regularly and you have a tire underneath the vehicle, well then that could be another justification. You just really got to justify actually having that rear bar. If you don't really need any of those benefits from a rear bar, then why are you getting a rear bar? Spend the money elsewhere. And the bar that I have may not necessarily suit your needs. So find the bar that suits your needs, check that list out, and then you should be good. Now, special thanks to my 4Wheeling Legend members, in specific, Jack Henrik and Burbster Bush Redback, and all the other members, of course. If you want to know more about YouTube members for my channel, check out that join button. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.